day weekend. Oops, was I on mute? Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? So nice to see you guys on the stream. Okay, wow, there's so many people joining us from the chat. I see Haley Catpaws, number one viewer, the first one here. Kmod also says, hi there. Relax No Name, another regular, says hello. Sasha says hello with lots of O's. I love the energy. Um, Cristiano says heart, 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 and Reem says hey. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening. How are you guys doing today? Earlier, I was just mentioning how it was Juneteenth in the US, so we didn't have work yesterday, and so we had a slightly long weekend, and I really, really enjoyed that. How about you guys? Did you have any fun weekend plans? Write down in the chat what you did over the weekend. I would love to know. And as always, I am joined by my wonderful colleague and amazing person, August. Hi, August. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, for everyone who doesn't know, I'm August. I'm one of the interactive engineers at TikTok, and I help make the templates and microjams.
Yeah, welcome everyone. I can see that K-Mod just received their silver badge today. Congratulations. Oh my god, a silver badge. That's such a big accomplishment. Uh,
Congrats.
Yeah. Oh, for those people on the chat, let me know what you guys did on the weekends. I want to know. I have a question to start, but before starting, did you want to say anything, August? If not, we can move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, sounds great. I have a first question, and it's from Discord. They're asking, "Hey, I'm trying to do a. They want to do a tattoo body segmentation thing. So could you show us how to do that? Maybe with skin segmentation and clothes segmentation."
Yeah, sure. Let's see. So let's open a fresh project. Actually, here, let me open a fresh project. And I'm currently in Effect House 2.5.2, which is the 2.5 newest patch release. Just for anyone wondering. Okay, so in the asset panel, the first thing I would do is add in some clothing segmentation. And depending on where this tattoo is, you might also want to add in hair segmentation. If it's a face tat, you want to make sure the bangs cover it. And then portrait segmentation, which is basically person segmentation. Okay, so if we set these up, we'll put them on a 2D layer. So we'll add a 2D screen image. And then I always just like to change the stretch mode to stretch so we can see what actual shape the transform is. And then we'll just do portrait segmentation first. Let's see. So we basically want to make this simple. So I think for the portrait segmentation, you would do the opposite of the other ones. So you would say cut out texture, camera texture, and you would invert mask. This means that it'll draw the background instead of the person. So when we have it set up here, if I just add another 2D image, you can see if I put it behind that first one that I created, we can see that it only draws where the person is because it's drawing this image that I put in the scene, and then it's drawing all of the background around the person. So this image would be a tattoo. I don't have any tattoo PNGs on hand, but you can imagine.
You mean you
there's probably
don't
a lot.
casually carry a tattoo PNG like all the time?
On my old computer, I used to.
I always
But
wanted to like see myself with like a little tiny cute tattoo, so I would sometimes use Effect House to visualize. Because I have three
totally.
cute cats, I think if I were to actually get an effect, I would love to get like three tiny cats, and because their names are Boo, Ghost, and Spider, it would be inspired of all their names. So Spider would have like a little cloth over himself. Spider would have little spider legs, and Ghost will have little, I think that would be cute. Sorry, sidetracked. Any chance I get, I would love to talk about my cat.
I think I'm gonna get a whole family of Archies tattooed up across my rib cage.
Oh my god, a couple days ago, a creator told me that they're seriously considering getting the Effect House logo carved in, like as a tattoo. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is dedication. If you do that, I will give you free Archie plushies for life. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder I would first think of some alternatives that you could transform it into if Effect House ever changed their logo.
That is great. That is preparedness. I admire. Yeah.
um, so of course we don't really have to imagine like that tattoo because we have this, which I think a lot of people have been getting as a tattoo recently. This default image. Anyway,
Oh yeah, it's so
so
popular. I've seen 20 people with the same image. I mean, be have your own unique personality.
so the main problem with this is like unique personality. The main problem with this is that tattoos usually don't go over your hair and clothes. So what we want to do is duplicate this so we have another full screen image and change the segmentation to the clothing segmentation. So now we have drawing the background, the inverse person, and then we also are drawing the clothing to cover up another layer. And then on the bottom layer, we still have our tattoo. And then we're going to do this one more time. And this could get heavy, to be honest. 3 segmentation layers might be a bit much, but you'll put the hair. And then you can see, even if it's a forehead tattoo, the hair will cover it. The only other thing that you might want to do, and I haven't seen many people do this, but I'm not really interested in doing it myself, so go ahead and take it. If you want to do a neck tattoo, you might want to, instead of doing the hair for the last one, you might want to do head segmentation. So if we do head segmentation, you can see it'll create a nice little neck tattoo because the head is covering only down to the chin. So that could be a popular thing. I haven't seen too much of it, but maybe somebody's done it already. And then if you really want the tattoo to stick with the person and it's near their head, I would add a head tracker. And make that screen image that the tattoo is on. I would just do a 3D. Oh no, wait. Where's the 3D image? Okay, yeah, here it is. So I would do this. I would just attach it to the head, turn off the occluder, and then I would. Well, maybe I wouldn't do that. Okay, actually, yes, I would do that. Sometimes I don't update my methods to the new features, but we can make this look at the camera just by adding a look at component. So for this purpose, the look at component is absolutely perfect. If I can remember where it is, here we go. And then the target transform would just be the camera. Make sure it's the 3D camera since it's the 3D image. And then
Oh my god,
whenever,
I know it's just a default image, but Ranzo looks great with that.
yeah, we should
Maybe,
show this to him.
yeah,
He
maybe
might.
we should consider having, he should get a neck tattoo. Can somebody take a
uh,
screenshot of this and put it in our Discord chat so I can tag it and show Ranza?
oh, uh, there we go. Yeah, we should really show Renza. He'll definitely get this if we show it to him. Okay. There we go. It doesn't look too bad. We'll just show one brief example of somebody like turning their head. Do we have any previews of people turning their head? Oh, there we go. So, it doesn't look too bad. Looks okay. But yeah, that's that's it. I hope to see a lot of neck tattoos coming out this week.
Sounds nice. I quickly ran a poll while you were finishing up that tutorial. I said, if you were to get a tattoo, what would you get? And I gave it four options. One is tattoo of your pet. Number two is flower. Number three is something else, their own idea. And the last one was no tattoos for me. And the tattoo of your pet is winning with 71%. And my cat, who's hanging out right here, is very happy to hear that. They're always on my keyboard. They're stepping on my keyboard. They're sitting on my keyboard. It is crazy madness here. I got so many cats on my desk. Okay. Moving on to question by Haley Cat. She asked, "Hi August, is there a limit on how many 2D screen objects we can have? And could using too many 2D images with 0% opacity to act as folders for other 2D images also impact performance?"
Okay. First question, I don't think there's a limit to how many screen images you can have. The only limitation is what a mobile device can process. And then I will say, if you turn an image to 0 opacity, even though it's not, you can't see it, it's still going to be rendering in the background. So it's going to make a huge difference if you have a lot of images. Say you have 100 images, it'll definitely make a difference if they're turned off instead of 0% or 0 opacity. That'll save you some processing power and make it run a little more fast.
Let's say you wanted to create like an empty folder. Is there anything that you recommend? I know we also have like an empty mesh option, you know?
Yeah, I guess an empty folder, like an empty object. Yeah, so if you ever want to create an empty object, if you like have an image already here and you're setting it to 0 opacity, you can just click the dot 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 and remove, and that'll make it just a transform, just like a placeholder object in the hierarchy. Or you could also, if you haven't already added it, you can just go to scene and click scene object. I think for 2D, there's also 2D scene object. Yeah.
Okay.
So just make sure that you're using the right one, because it'll have the correct transform. It'll either have the regular or the screen transform.
Sounds good. We have another question. Haley Cat asked lots of questions today, and I'm really happy that you did. Don't feel at all bad or sorry that you asked a lot of questions. I'm loving it, seriously. She says, and one other performance related question: do several animation files impact performance heavily?
Several animation files?
So maybe like if you have a 3D character and they have animations.
Yeah. Is it the 2D texture animations or the 3D FBX with animations?
Let me see.
I think, yeah, if it's the FBX with animations, I think it might just be like, I know it'll increase file size if you're animating everything. A lot of times in Blender or other 3D programs, there's it's very easy to just like create a bunch of key points that just for like all bones and stuff like that. Like you're just like saving poses for all bones. And if you're only animating like one bone, then you could save a lot of space by just creating key points for just the parts you're animating. So that could save you some space. I'm not sure how much processing power it will save you, but it seems like it would save some.
Haley says, IE say they're all using the same texture sequence, but we plan on doing 50 different randomized numbers, so we have to have 50 different animation files for it. I actually have an answer to this one, Haley, because I was
nice.
I was chatting with Ranza at the cafeteria, at the TikTok LA office cafeteria one day, and he mentioned that they are basically instancing, so it would not affect the effect performance if you just recreate multiple videos of it. Hope that was helpful.
Yeah. Keep in mind, if you do only use one texture sequence or animated texture. Oh yeah. Well, maybe I'll just show you how to exactly what Celine means so you can visualize it. I'll just add in one of these animation sequences from a micro jam. We'll just do this number one. So you can see there's this is the texture sequence. This is like literally each of the textures put together, and then this is the animated texture. So this is what you can put in place of any texture in the project. So you could just like put that here, and yeah. And so the nice thing about this is that you could create another one of these and it will reference the same assets. So you don't have to add the same assets. And then inside of each of these are separately controlled instances. So like you could set one of them to run forward, one to run backward. And then if you connect animated texture player, you could have two different players and control them separately. So yeah, if you add one to your scene, if you add a bunch to your scene using the same one, you won't be able to stop. You won't be able to like stop and play them unless you have multiple of these. So each of these plays on its own, kind of. Animated texture. Cool.
Okay. One other question. If we use the same segmentation texture on multiple 2D screen objects, would that impact the performance the same way as creating multiple textures?
No. If you did you say segmentation? I feel like.
Yeah,
Or
and she
just texture?
mentioned, for example,
Okay.
5 of the same textures, just with different blend modes and opacity.
Okay. Yeah. If you are just using portrait segmentation 5 times, as long as you're not creating 5 portrait segmentate, or even if you do create 5 portrait segmentations down here like this, I know for sure if you just have one of them and you put it in the scene 5 times, it's not going to be anywhere near as heavy as if you added clothing, hair, head, portrait. So basically what happens when you add it to the assets and then you have it somewhere in your scene is it's going to be running like the algorithm on your device to do the portrait segmentation. So as long as the algorithm is running, then this mask you see down here in the corner is already generated. So it only has to do that once for each algorithm.
Yeah. Okay, sounds fantastic. Moving on to the next question. Swinging S says, "Hello, I wanted to know how to make a randomizer effect with different songs, and the one that you get starts playing. That would be awesome to know. Thank you very much."
Yeah, let's should we open the randomizer template?
Yeah. Also, a lot of people have been asking me like how we can further expand the randomizer template. Like for example, if you land on square number 3, it does certain action. If you land on square number 5, it does certain action. So maybe we can show like how we can show like which frame we landed on and how to visual script that.
Yeah, I'll give you a little sneak peek as well. There's a fix for the randomizer in the works. After the last office hours, I think it was Game Plus 40 that pointed out that this after the most recent animated texture update, this output value doesn't match the actual result. And so the workaround for that is pretty simple. It is just getting this stop frame variable, and this will be updated soon, but I just wanted to show you in case you're working with it now. You take this stop frame variable. This is the new interface for variables, and you don't have to create this. You can just drag it all the way to the end, and you would just do this. And the reasoning is because it takes 1 frame after you stop the animated texture for it to update its current frame. So then instead of grabbing the current frame from this when it stops, we just grab the same frame that we're assigning to it. So it's already at the correct number. So that's like the workaround that we have for now. And then once you do that, it will work as intended. So when it stops, you could hook it up to like a switch node and then plug in this index. And then, for instance, if you wanted to do the audio thing, you would have one audio player play there. You would have another audio player play for your other audio or song. And then each of these are hooked up to a player. There's a couple different ways to do audio, but with this way, I think you would have an audio player in your scene. Let me see. Okay. I think you have to add audio things. You can do an audio resource controller actually just the same. And audio resource just links some audio that you have in your assets. And then you can directly set it up without adding anything to your scene this way, actually. And then there's a speaker right here, so you can control the volume of each song. And then you would do it that way instead of these audio player controllers if you don't have them in your hierarchy. And then just keep in mind, if it's music that is copyrighted and released, I think it will check that so that you're not posting music from an artist, like using it without their permission. So you might encounter that, and if you do, I would just reach out to support, and they might be able to help you like get your song approved for the effect. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I had another general question regarding randomizers. They said, hey, I want to do 3 randomizers at the same time. Let's say like a slot machine a little bit. So they want the first randomizer, second randomizer, third randomizer to be 3 separate randomizers so you can see if it lands on the same one. Can you teach us how to modify the template so we can do that?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. So let's just do it with planets. The first thing you would do is you would duplicate this subgraph. So I'll just show you with 2, and then you can extrapolate the info to do it with more. So the first thing you'll want to do is go through. Now there's 2 options that we have when we're creating these templates, and it depends on who the template is for and what it's doing. Sometimes you'll notice we will create a value here, and we'll add in a scene object, and then we'll use get component by type, and we'll grab the image, or we'll grab the image type from the incoming thing. So you only have to switch the input. But for randomizer, we wanted it to be very simple for any new people to come in, and they don't have to mess with switching anything in the visual scripting. They can just replace assets here. And if they do look in here, we wanted it to look neat and tidy. So we ended up doing this other thing where we just have these object pickers, and we highlight in orange where to swap out anything that you need to swap. So the first thing you'll do is duplicate this face image. And then here's your new title. So here would be, I would just add a 2 to each of these somewhere, maybe at the beginning actually, so you can read it. And this is just so it's easier to see in the object picker and the hierarchy. And then since we're in the second one, we'll just go through each of these orange objects and replace them basically. So this one was random sequencer. Oh, okay. And then we'll just change it with the second one. This one says title, so we'll change it to the 2 title. And for the opacity, we'll just click get opacity or set opacity.
Oh, are you okay, August?
It always brings me to tears looking
I
back
know,
at
this is just so dramatic and magical that like every time I see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, tears.
memories. Oh, and just remember for these ones that are setting with no input, just make sure to use the same value. So this, as you can see, the logic, we're literally just setting a value to 1 with this. So just make sure that we're doing the same thing with the new one. And in the future, as we add more capabilities for like subgraph stuff, like adding the ability to create this kind of setter um, where you can just swap out something at the front of the subgraph, we'll probably update this and replace that as well. Oh no, the tears. I'm getting choked up.
Yeah, I mean, that's moving updates. Thank you, August.
So yeah, you just go through. I'm just gonna continue doing this. So this one, a nice easy one, you can just click the object picker, go through. Here's another one. Here's another one. Okay. And then I think we swapped all of them. So now if we go out here, let's just use sequence. This is just a node I use a lot to split a signal into to do multiple things in the same frame. So we'll just do this and this. Okay, now we can't see them because one is overlapping the other. So let's just move these slightly to the side. You would probably arrange them however you want in some other way, but I'll just move them so you can see both. And then when we click the restart, we'll see that both randomizers basically do the same thing. And they should land on, let's see. They should land on different things. Time to spin, stop frame. So the stop frame is randomly selected by the random node. Okay, did we just get really lucky and land on two at the same time? Oh, you know what? This is the other thing. You have to duplicate the 2D texture sequence. So then we go to this one, and we have to make sure that it's using the duplicated one asset. And that's because this animated texture player is controlling the playback of one of these animated textures. So you're basically saying play, pause, stop on these assets in the asset window now. Instead of previously, it was just in the hierarchy, you're telling each instance to stop, play, or pause. So now that you're doing it in the assets and they're just kind of auto playing by themselves in the background, you have to have multiple so you can individually tell each asset when to play and stop. So that's the difference, and that's how you'll get different results for each one. So keep that in mind. And yeah, that's maybe we'll see more effects like that too.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for covering that. I am sure that that helped so many people. Okay, last question of the day by FilterDank. Silly simple question here. Is there any simple way to input vector 3 data into transit by time node instead of manually typing it into each box? Whenever I connect the get position node into the from input, it doesn't seem to work correctly. I might be misunderstanding.
So for transit by time, if you want to use vector 3s instead, you could switch at the top. There's this little drop down, it might be a little hidden, and you switch it to vec3. And then if you want to control these values, you can either manually type them in here, which is what you would do for one use case, or you can create a vec3 combine node, plug it in here, and you can manually plug in the X, Y, and Z values manually from some other place, or just plug in a vec3 as is from somewhere like, like any 3D position or whatever. I think that is the answer you're looking for, maybe. But let me know if I misunderstood.
Yeah, at the moment, I don't see any specific comment, but if you have more questions filtered in, you can always message us on Discord. So I think that is the end of our live today. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I hope you had a great time. I did, and we talked about so many ways to improve our performance on our effect today. I thought it was very useful. Also, in the meantime, while I was doing the live, my cat Ghost was just accompanying us the entire time, and now she's going away because the food ran. But I just wanted to conclude with a photo of my cat. Am I a crazy cat mom, August? Be honest. But I'm proud of
Yes.
it. Look, she was like this the entire time, and that's my monitor. I mean, how could you
Oh,
not
that's so
love
cute.
it? Okay. Bye, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We are not doing live next Tuesday because all of the Effect House crew members are unfortunately busy at the moment, but we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everyone. Bye bye.